Number 50, talk like they talk. This is one of the most advanced techniques that's being taught around the world to people that are helping negotiate multi-billion-dollar deals and mergers every day. Anytime you hear your prospect or client say any word or any phrase that is not part of your everyday vocabulary, you recognize it, but it's just something you don't say every day. Write it down and feed it back to them. Next week if you want to, or as early as the next sentence. 99% of the people will not know what's happening, but all of a sudden they are starting to feel very comfortable talking with you because you're talking their language.
In this section, let's look a little further at talking like they talk. This one technique alone can increase your effectiveness on the phone by as much as 20% within 30 days if you'll practice at becoming a better listener and using their words and phrases. A recent survey showed that the average person that we communicate with will use an average of 3 of their favorite words or phrases every minute of conversation. Now that means that if we've been on the phone with somebody for, let's say, 10 minutes, qualifying them and building a rapport, have we listened for, identified, written down, and fed back up to 30 of their favorite words or phrases? Probably not. The average telemarketer never listens for the first one because we're too busy yakking, we're too busy talking, and not busy enough listening for their words or phrases. This is a great technique to be used during the qualification stage. As an example, if you're talking to a prospect and ask as an example, what's the best investment they've ever made? And they say, well, it was a Rebasac partnership. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what it was doesn't necessarily mean diddly squat. It's how they describe it that's critically important. If you ask him, well, what'd you like about that? And he said, well, it had some good upside potential and I had a little fun with it. Now, if it legally and morally fits your product or service, when you're making your presentation, guess what words you'd want to use? That's right. Has some good upside potential and have a little fun with it. Now notice we didn't change anything. We didn't say you could have a bunch of fun with it or a lot of fun with it or that it had a lot of great upside potential. He said good upside potential and had a little fun with it. If it legally and morally fits, say exactly the words and phrases that they use. This can also work when you're asking for the worst investment they've ever made. They say, well, I was involved in something or other, whatever they say. Well, gee, what didn't work out? Why didn't you like it? Well, this guy kept calling me 2-3 times a week, and all he could talk about was this new and exciting opportunity, new and exciting opportunity. Now, again, am I going to be dumb enough to use either one of those 2 words when I'm making my presentation? No way. Write them in big red letters and avoid them. You can talk about young, emerging growth opportunities. You can talk about entrepreneurial stage companies, anything but new and exciting. Also, listen for words and phrases that are peculiar to certain parts of the country. On the East Coast, it might be a New York second. Down south, this dog will hunt. Out in California, hey, let's do lunch. Pick up words and phrases that you can use to talk like your prospect talks. 95% of them will have no concept at all of what you're doing. All they know is they're starting to feel very comfortable with you because you're using their words and phrases and talking their language. And now here's an assignment for you. Tape record at least 1 phone call a day and listen to it back so that you can pick out words and phrases up to 3 a minute that you ordinarily would have missed, and then start practicing using those back on your prospect or your customer to build rapport. For those of you wondering why you've only got a headshot on this section, please understand that it's now about 120 under the lights. The bugs are driving us crazy. Here, Blue. Whose idea was this anyhow? Folks, remember the challenge. Don't try to figure out why a proven skill or technique or choice of words won't work. Depending on your product or service, be willing to change a few words around and practice, drill, rehearse, and role play them until they become a habit. We're out of here.
Whoa.